Hi, Cook Cardinals. I hope you enjoyed the Seek the Sun story that you heard from the other teachers. Today we're going to move on to reading two very short stories and one poem. So we're going to listen to I Am Boom, The Fool on the Hill, and Mother of the Mountains. And we're going to work on compare and contrast today. So long ago, people had questions about what caused things in nature. So they weren't sure where lightning or thunder or rain came from. And different cultures or different groups of people came up with different tales about why they think those occurred or what caused those natural events to happen. So we're going to focus on these three texts and see the differences between the two and the way that they are the same. So we're going to focus on comparing, which is telling the same, and contrasting, telling the differences. And we're also going to look at some vivid or convincing details in the text to help us understand the words and the illustrations. So the first one we're going to listen to is called The Fool on the Hill. And we're going to think about this question as I'm reading. And remember, since you can't really answer the questions, I'll be answering them as we read through it. So I might stop and talk about the text a little bit. So our close read question says, how does the fool on the hill describe where thunder comes from? So I have to remember that's what I'm thinking about as I read. Where does thunder come from? And how does the language make the reader feel about thunder? Okay, so those are my two questions that I'm going to be thinking about as I read The Fool on the Hill. Not The Foot on the Hill. That would be silly. All right, so here's our story. It's from Harry Devlin's Tales of Thunder and Lightning. And this is a Russian tale. So when I said we're going to read stories from different cultures, this culture is Russian, or a group of people that are from Russia. So our story goes, once upon a time, in a great castle atop a steep hill, there lived a wizard and his beautiful daughter. At the foot of the same hill, in a sad and sorry hovel, the village fool made his home. And I remember in the question that it wanted me to focus on the fool. Okay, so I know he's an important character. Somehow the fool had gotten into his head that the lovely maiden was being held captive by a wicked sorcerer. So this fool in his head thinks that the beautiful daughter is in the castle and she's being held there and she wants to get out. She wants to escape. And the fool thinks that a wicked sorcerer is what's keeping her in that castle. So from time to time, he would decide to rescue her. Now, again, remember, this is just what he made up in his head. Arming himself with a homemade wooden lance and a shield. So I can see that in the photograph right here and right here. I'm sorry, in the illustration. And protecting his head with a copper tea kettle, the fool stormed the castle hill in order to save the fair damsel. So again, he's thinking that the young daughter, the beautiful daughter, is in trouble. So he stormed the castle, meaning he took his shield and his tea kettle like as a helmet, and he's going to fight the sorcerer so he can free the beautiful daughter. The wizard, of course, always heard the fool climbing clumsily upward. So now the wizard who's in the castle is hearing all of this because it's really loud. And from his bag of tricks, he would draw forth magical balls of fire, lightning, to frighten away the poor simpleton. So the sorcerer is on the top of the hill, and you can see he's shooting fire down at the fool. As the surprised fool toppled noisily back down the hill, head and tea kettle over heels, meaning he was falling like rolling, the beautiful maid would join her father in hoots of laughter. So the daughter and the sorcerer, who's the dad, would think this is funny. And all the noise is what makes Russian thunder. So the Russian tale, when I'm thinking about what causes thunder from the Russian tale, I'm thinking that the sound of the fool rolling down the hill, making all of that noise. So here it says he topples back down the hill with his tea kettle over his heels. And remember, his tea kettle's made of copper or metal, so it's really noisy. And that noise is what the Russians think created thunder. So that's a pretty interesting cause of thunder, pretty interesting thought for the Russian culture. So again, these are just tales, meaning they might not be true. It's just what they think, or maybe they thought of a long time ago. Okay, now we're going to look at our next story, which is called Mother of Mountains. And it's also by Harry Devlin in the same tale of thunder and lightning. And this one is an American Indian legend. So this is from American Indians. And we are going to focus on what do we learn from the Native American legend on page 45 about the cause of thunder and what details are powerful. So just like we did with the village fool, the Russian tale, we're going to focus on the cause of this and find some details to support it. So the Catskill Mountain region of New York is justly famous for its magnificent storms. The sounds of thunder echo and re-echo across its great Hudson River and valleys. The Indians who lived here before the white man came believed that an old and wise spirit, the mother of the mountains, so there's my character I'm thinking of as I read, made her home on the Catskills' highest peak. And so long as she felt pleased with her people in the valleys below, she would spin light summery clouds out of cobwebs and morning dew. So here she is in our illustration. She's the mother of the mountain. And as long as she was happy, she would give out clouds, but they were like the fluffy kind, summery clouds, and she would make them out of cobwebs and morning dew. But whenever she was annoyed, the mother of the mountains would take out her big cooking cauldron. Here it is. It's like a big pot. Maybe you see it around Halloween. And stir up a batch of heavy storm clouds, black as ink and alive with the fire of her anger. These weighty clouds soon burst over the valleys, making thunderous booms and releasing bolts of fiery lightning. A drenching rain usually followed. So I'm thinking about our question that was, how is thunder caused in this American Indian legend, or the tale of the American Indians? So I know it has to do with the mother mountains. And I remember when she was happy, she would pass out like summery clouds, the fluffy ones. And then when we go down to this paragraph, I remember it says when she was annoyed, she would take out her big cauldron and bake or make up heavy storm clouds. And when those storm clouds got so full and they weighed so much, they would burst. And that burst would make thunderous booms and cause lightning. So the American Indian legend is that Mother of the Mountain, she would be angry, and that's what caused thunder. And I can see those details that I highlighted, those show you the reasons or support our answer that she would create the thunder when she was mad. All right, our last one is a poem. And this one is called I Am Boom by Jack Perletsky. And it has a pretty cool illustration on the cover. So here it is. And let's read the poem. I am Boom, the thunder dragon, taller than the tallest trees. I stir whirlwinds when I whisper, mighty cyclones when I sneeze. Fishes shiver in the ocean when I tread upon the shore. I make earthquakes and volcanoes when I roar, roar, roar. I am Boom, the thunder dragon. All the earth is my domain. When I flap my wings in fury, I create a hurricane. Lions vanish at my footsteps. Eagles tremble at my glance. And the mountains start to rumble when I dance, dance, dance. Giants fly into a panic when I rear my massive head. When I snort my searing fires, fearless ogres faint with dread. If you ever see me coming, you had better give me room. I am Boom, the thunder dragon. I am Boom, boom, boom. Wow, so as I was reading this, I noticed the author used font size. So they changed the size of the words, and I think they did that because they wanted me to read those words in a different voice. So that's why I did that as I was reading. They really wanted to emphasize those words and grab your attention of what boom does. It roars, it dances, and it booms. And as I was reading, it made me think of the thunder and like in our other stories and what causes the thunder. And I read some really vivid action words that might help me. Like I read the word vanish, something, eagles tremble, the mountains rumble, and let's see, where did I see another one? And the fearless ogres faint. So these words the author included to tell you how those animals or things are feeling when they see boom or they hear boom, which is the thunder. So it's showing me that these animals and things are scared of the thunder. If they vanish or they tremble, meaning they shake, or they rumble or they faint, like they pass out. So it's showing me that they really fear this boom. So if we think of our three stories that we just read, and we have to think of the comparing and the contrasting. So they all explain the causes of thunder, but the three causes are different, or the three beliefs on what causes the thunder are different. One other thing that I really liked was that they were all imaginative, or they were all so creative. But a difference that I noticed was different characters. Like the last one had a lot of animals, whereas the first two were talking more about people. So those are our ways that the texts were similar and different. All right, I hope to see you guys on our next video. Bye!